welcome to episode 4 of AWS She Builds Tech Skills. Now, today we have an awesome lineup of speakers today, 6 in total, all AWS solutions architects from all over the globe, and they'll be talking about what they were excited about from reInvent 2021 and how you can get started with using these services and features right away. Now, this is our first episode back from the holidays, and curious to know what everyone did during the holidays and where they're tuning in from today. So just type in the chat on the right-hand side, and we'd love to hear from you. Even if there's random comments or questions, we'd love to keep it really interactive because the aim here is to build that community, the cloud community, basically. So please do type it in the chat. Now, what about me during the holidays? I was tinkering around with AWS IoT services to try and get some data out of my bonsai to see if I can revive it back from the death. You know, it doesn't sound too great, but yeah, just trying to get some stats there around the bonsai. I was also on the terminal a lot, running Kubernetes commands just for fun. I really enjoy spinning up EKS clusters as well. And I'm wondering, May, what did you get up to during the holidays?
Before we talking about my holidays, that's pretty cool using the IoT services to collect data, and especially from Bonsai. It's really cool. I haven't actually tried with IoT services, so I might probably give it a go. During the holidays, I went on a road trip just outside of Sydney for about a week, and we didn't have any internet or signals, so that was a little out of the comfort zone. You don't usually have that kind of thing. So we spent a lot of time in the nature, going for a walk, read some books. So that was really good. Like, I had a really good break. For the viewers, please put in the chat. If you have any questions, please drop it in the chat. I will be monitoring the chat. If you're new to the She Builds Tech Skills, I would love you to go and check out our previous episode. We did 3 episodes in 2021. So please go and check out on the YouTube channel. I'm going to drop in the chat now for the link. If you're interested to be part of the show or want to be a presenter featuring on our show, please reach out to myself or and we'll have a chat.
Awesome. That sounds really interesting, May. Love that you kind of went away to nature and forgot about, being in front of a computer. I think we all need to do that sometimes. So I know last time we chatted a little bit about reInvent, and today's session is all about that. And just as a recap, for those viewers who are listening in and wondering what reInvent actually is, AWS reInvent is a learning conference hosted by Amazon Web Services, and it's for the global cloud computing community. Now, this event features a lot of keynotes, training and certification opportunities, and access to 1,500 plus technical sessions that you can get started. Even if you're just starting with cloud computing or if you're already deep within it, there's definitely something in there for everybody. Now, one of my favorite announcements from this year was around the new sustainability pillar that was announced as part of the Well-Architected framework. Now, the AWS Well-Architected framework has been helping AWS customers improve their cloud architecture since back in 2015. So we've been running for quite a while in tech years. Now, this framework consists of design principles, questions and best practices across 5 pillars, including operational excellence, security, reliability, performance efficiency, and cost optimization. And reInvent introduced a 6th pillar around sustainability that will help organizations learn, measure, and improve their workloads using environmental best practices for cloud computing. Now, the sustainability of the cloud allows AWS customers to reduce associated energy usage by up to nearly 80% compared to a typical on-premises environment. Now, it's possible because we have much higher server utilization, power, and cooling efficiency, custom data center design, and continued progress around powering our AWS operations. We're heading towards 100% renewable energy by 2025. And you can achieve a lot more for your organization if we work together to collectively design sustainable architecture. So if you're a customer on AWS and you're looking to achieve sustainability goals with us, please do reach out to your local solutions architect. Or if you don't know where to start, please do reach out to one of us. May, what's your favorite from reInvent 2021?
Well, there are a lot of announcements at reInvent 2021, so it's really tricky to choose one. But if I have to choose one of the favorite announcements, it's going to be Amazon Personalize for the use case in the media entertainment industry. So I work quite a bit with my media entertainment customers, and I don't come from the machine learning background, so I don't have much of the expertise in that. And similar to most of the developers, mostly focusing on the applications and development. And then in reInvent 2021, we announced a feature for the personalized, which is building the personalized user experience for the media entertainment use cases. So, for example, if you're building the applications, you can create a recommendation engine, for example, like top picks for user May, which is a personalized content for myself, or it could be like, because you watch a movie A, here are the videos that you might like. So I find that these features really simplify the machine learning models. And for myself, like for developers who doesn't have much of a machine learning expertise, it can easily integrate and deliver it in the applications. And you will see that a lot, quite common in these days, like in the retail industry, like when you do shopping, because you click on these items, you might like those items and things like that. So this is a quite common ask from the customer or user that they're expecting these kind of features. So I think this is really, really useful feature, and it will drive more value for the customer and also the application. So I'm really excited about that. So I'm so excited about today's special episode. We've talked about it, we worked on it. So what is it going to look like for today's special episode?
Yeah, so today we have a total of 6 special guests who are all AWS solutions architects located globally, including Nelly Lobchikova, Eileen Lee, Natalie White, Purnima Shant, Victoria Seman, and Deval Parekh. Now, they'll be talking about what services and features that really excited them from reInvent 2021 and how you can get started with these services and features right away. So let's get started.
Hello everyone, my name is Purnima Chand. My pronouns are she and her. I'm a solutions architect in the strategic accounts team at AWS, and I'm based out of Dallas, Texas. Today I'm here to talk to you about my favorite feature release from AWS reInvent 2021. While there have been so many exciting announcements from reInvent, if I need to pick a favorite, it would be Amazon SageMaker serverless inference feature. This feature perfectly intersects two of my personal interests, AWS serverless and machine learning. Amazon SageMaker serverless inference is a new inference option in Amazon SageMaker. With this feature, you can easily deploy machine learning models for inference without configuring or managing any of the underlying infrastructure. This takes away the undifferentiated heavy lifting of selecting and managing your servers for running your inference. Serverless inference integrates with AWS Lambda to offer you high availability, built-in fault tolerance, and automatic scaling. To use this feature, simply select the serverless option when deploying your model, and Amazon SageMaker automatically provisions, scales, and turns off compute capacity based on the volume of inference request. You can create SageMaker inference endpoint from the console, AWS SDKs, or using AWS command line interface. With SageMaker serverless inference, you only pay for the duration of running the inference code and the amount of data processed, not for any of the idle time. During times when there are no requests, serverless inference scales your endpoint down to zero to help you minimize your cost. This makes it a cost-effective option for inference use cases with unpredictable traffic patterns. This feature is currently available in preview in select AWS regions. To learn more, visit the Amazon SageMaker deployment webpage. For detailed steps on how to get started, see the SageMaker serverless inference documentation, which also includes a sample notebook. Thank you, and I hope you have fun running machine learning inference using Amazon SageMaker serverless inference.
Hi everyone, I'm really excited to join She Builds Tech Skills today to talk about some of my favorite analytics announcements at reInvent 2021. My name is Eileen and I'm a solutions architect at AWS based in Sydney. There were quite a number of analytics announcements at reInvent, including serverless capability for some of the analytics services such as EMR, Redshift, and managed service for Kafka or MSK. So it's quite difficult to just choose one or two favorite announcements. But one of my favorite announcements is AWS Lake Formation governed tables and storage optimization and row level security features that were announced. So currently, if you are replicating data from a database into a data lake on S3, and if you are replicating the changes to the data in your database as well, you have to write custom code to handle the changes, the updates or the deletes in your data lake. And you have to write custom code to provide a consistent view of that data to your users. So Lake Formation governed tables is a new type of table on Amazon S3 that supports updates and deletes in your data lakes. As data is added or changed, Lake Formation automatically manages conflicts and errors to ensure that all users see a consistent view of the data. Governed tables also monitor and also automatically optimize how data is stored by compacting small files and delta files to optimize storage, and also so that query times are consistent and fast performing. In addition to tables and columns, Lake Formation now supports row level and cell level permissions, which makes it more easy to restrict access to sensitive information by granting users access only to the parts of the data that they are allowed to see. And this can be very fine-grained down to the cell level. So governed tables, row and cell level permissions are now supported through Amazon Athena, Redshift Spectrum, AWS Glue, as well as Amazon QuickSight. So if you have users who are querying the data in your data lake using those services, that makes use of the row and the cell level permissions that are configured in Lake Formation. The other favorite announcement that I have is Amazon Kinesis Data Streams on Demand. So Kinesis Data Streams is a serverless streaming data service that allows you to capture, process, and store streaming data at scale. So previously, you would have to know the volume of data that you are sending to Kinesis Data Streams and the rate of data that you are sending to Kinesis Data Streams, and configure the number of shards to be enough to handle that volume and that rate. With Kinesis Data Streams on Demand, it's a new capacity mode for Kinesis Data Streams where you don't need to configure upfront how many shards you need. When you choose the on-demand capacity mode, Kinesis Data Streams handles your workloads as they ramp up and down. And it handles up to double its previous peak write throughput that it observes over the past 30 days. So as your data streams write throughput hits a new peak, Kinesis Data Streams automatically scales the stream's capacity to handle that new peak as well. You can create a new on-demand data stream, or you can convert an existing Kinesis data stream into the on-demand mode, and you don't have to provision and manage shards, servers, storage, or throughput. So these are the two analytics announcements that I found to be really useful. I hope that you have a chance to check them out, as well as some of the other announcements.
Hi, I'm Natalie White, and I'm an Enterprise Solutions Architect at AWS. I was a developer before I came to AWS, so I was really excited about the developer tools and infrastructure as code announcements and sessions at reInvent 2021. First, I'm a huge fan of the AWS Cloud Development Kit, or the CDK, and it had a major version release to V2 at reInvent. If you haven't heard of it, the CDK is an open source software development framework that you can use to define your cloud infrastructure and your application resources using the programming languages that you're already familiar with. If you're not a developer, but you want to build that skill set, I've seen several examples just this year of customers who are more in the infrastructure space use AWS CloudFormation or the CDK, or a combination of the two, to deploy solutions and simultaneously upskill their teams. Since the CDK uses the most basic set of features in each programming language that it supports, learning Python or TypeScript or JavaScript to build using the CDK can scale to developing Lambdas and automating tasks that would otherwise have to be done manually. So don't think that just because you're not already a developer, you can't use infrastructure as code. It's all about choosing the right tool for the skill set that you already have or that you want to build. So the major version release to V2 solved a pain point with the CDK V1. With CDK V1, each CDK construct library was separate. That meant that installing and managing all the separate dependencies and their versions became a real pain point for our customers, especially for more complex architectures where lots of different services are being used or constructs are being shared. So the major change with CDK V2 resolves that with a single package, which makes the installation and maintenance of your CDK dependencies much more efficient. The CDK Construct Hub also went GA at reInvent, and it supports the AWS CDK, the CDK for Kubernetes, and the CDK for Terraform. And it allows our customers to publish their own constructs to share them publicly with other builders, in addition to the constructs that AWS builds on your behalf. We know that customers are building amazing things using all three varieties of the CDK, so it's a great way for builders to get started quickly and to speed up innovation by broadening the number of authors who are building shareable, reusable constructs in all of the languages and frameworks that the CDK supports. Apart from all the new announcements, we had 25 breakout sessions in the DevOps space, and they've all been published on YouTube. So if you didn't make it to reInvent in person or stream the content live, head over to the AWS Events YouTube channel and check them out. The DevOps sessions cover mechanisms and tools to help teams work together more efficiently, observability for applications and for infrastructure, and best practices for creating and sharing patterns through frameworks like infrastructure as code. So check them out and keep on building.
Hi, my name is Nelly, and I'm a solutions architect here at AWS. But I'm also a developer. I love coding. That is why my favorite reInvent announcement is that Cloud Development Kit CDK version 2 got out of preview and generally available. Let me tell you a little bit about what is that. And I can tell you a lot, but I only have a few minutes. So, CDK is a declarative infrastructure as a code tool. Infrastructure as a code allows you to describe your resources in a code. Declarative means you define the end state of what you want to see, not the steps how to create. That would be imperative, and it's a completely different story. So what is CDK then? CDK is a multi-language software development framework for modeling cloud infrastructure as reusable components. Because it is declarative, we don't write actual code that is going to create our infrastructure. We are going to write a code that models that desired state we want for our resources. And then we pass this state for provisioning engines such as AWS CloudFormation And it is going to look at the model and realize this configuration for us. We introduced the Cloud Development Kit CDK in 2018, and it became very, very popular. CDK is a technology of choice for many organizations. The power of CDK is flexibility, and also you don't need to learn any new concept. All previous knowledge you had as a developer is still relevant. Loops, conditions, classes, components, language syntax, even tooling. Multiple languages support: C#, Go, Java, Python, and TypeScript. So what came with the version 2? It is a single package now. You see, version 1 was modular. That has a lot of flexibility, but also lots of management overheads. Now, if I were coding in a train, not having anymore, or during camping trip, yes, I'm the person who does that, and I don't have the internet, and I want to introduce new service, oops. But with the version 2, all my tooling and dependencies are there, and I can model my infrastructure. Version management, way easier. Just update one package. The other thing, did you know that CDK is open source and you can contribute? That is why stable and mature constructs are separated from experimental, so you always can rely on main library. And the last thing I'm excited is assertion library, so you can write unit tests against your infrastructure as a code and have peace of mind. I already migrated all my projects to version 2 and enjoyed management simplicity. So if you haven't tried CDK yet, please join me. It is a pure pleasure. And if you already use version 1, check maybe version 2 would be a little bit better for you. That was Nelly Lovchikova with you. Happy coding!
All right. So May, do you have any comments around what we've seen so far?
Yes. So maybe before we jump onto the comment, I want to hear more like a bit of your experience with the CDK. Have you used CDK with your customer or yourself, Mai?
Yeah, I did quite a few workshops with my customers with CDK around containers, and a lot of customers are using AWS CloudFormation or Terraform at the moment, and sometimes they have to write thousands of lines of code, and that for CloudFormation you're looking at YAML or JSON, right? And it's not particularly fun writing thousands of lines of code. Now, with CDK, you can abstract these lines of code into just a few lines, and it'll create that infrastructure via CloudFormation behind the scenes for you. Best of all, you can use the language of choice, whether that be Python or TypeScript, etc. Now, May, I know you're a developer. What's your take on CDK?
Yeah, so I'm a big fan of infrastructure as code. In my previous job, I was just a developer, so I was just focusing on the applications, and we have a DevOps team who manage the infrastructure as code. But we slowly get involved. The dev team slowly get involved in the writing the infrastructure and managing our own infrastructures, and that's how I got into the infrastructure as code and also CloudFormations and CDK. So I really loved CDK. It's I started using since version 1. I'm currently working on my POC, which is creating the media services using the CDK. And since the V2, the version 2 is released, and I migrated all my version 1 to V2, and it makes so much easier, like overhead and then the management of the source code and also the library. So it just made the infrastructure code also version control stored in the repository. So I can share my POC with my colleagues, not just on the infrastructure. And also the configurations that are involved in the infrastructure, so they can go and deploy and see what have I done silly things in the in the infrastructure. So, but yeah, that's the V2 has been. It makes it so much easier in the development. And if you're interested in how the customer feedback really helped shape the version 2 of the CDK. I think you should go and check it out, this blog post that I'm going to post it in the chat. And that's really interesting how the feedbacks and how we how we put that feedback into the version 2, and it has been a big release. So Mai, should we continue with the rest of the presenters?
Yeah, for sure. Before we do that, POC, so that stands for proof of concept, right? And that's something that even we as solutions architects do quite a lot. How would you define proof of concepts?
That's very interesting. So in the proof of concept, it's mainly come down to what's the goal of the proof of concept. Like, what are we trying to achieve in the proof of concept? Are we validating the idea, or are we trying to solve some of the technical challenge? And also, we should be able to measure the outcome of the proof of concept as well. So the way I see it is it's a way to solve a particular problems, or to showcase the capability of the services, how it all fits together, and how does it just give you an idea of what you can do in the modern technology world.
Yeah, awesome. Yeah, that's a fantastic explanation. Thanks, May. All right, let's continue with the rest of the presentation, shall we?
Sounds good.
Hi, everyone. My name is Deval Parikh, and I'm a Senior Solutions Architect at AWS. I'm based out of Los Angeles. I've been in the IT industry for over 15 years now. I started my career as a software development engineer at the Boeing Company. And prior to joining AWS, I worked at AT&T as a software architect, building their systems to enable DevOps on AWS Cloud. I'm also a containers specialist at AWS, and here to talk to you about my favorite feature at reInvent 2021. One of the newest launches at AWS this year in the container space is Carpenter. So what is Carpenter? Carpenter is an open source, flexible, vendor neutral, high performance Kubernetes autoscaler built with AWS. It improves your application's availability and your cluster's performance by providing right-sized compute resources like the AWS EC2 instances. So how does Carpenter work? It observes aggregated resource requests for unscheduled pods on Kubernetes, and then makes decision to either launch new pods to reduce application scheduling latencies, or terminate existing unused pods to optimize your infrastructure costs. Why was Carpenter introduced then? Prior to Carpenter, Kubernetes users needed to dynamically adjust compute capacity of their clusters by using EC2 autoscaling groups and the Kubernetes cluster autoscaler. About half of the Kubernetes customers on AWS have reported that configuring cluster autoscaling using Kubernetes cluster autoscaler is not only challenging, but also restrictive. So what are some of the use cases associated with Carpenter? Carpenter works with all kinds of Kubernetes applications, but it performs particularly well with applications that require quick provisioning and deprovisioning of large number of resources for a diverse set of compute needs. A few examples of such applications include batch jobs to train machine learning models, applications that run simulations, and those that perform complex financial calculations, and many more. Some of the customer benefits of using Carpenter are, it improves your Kubernetes cluster efficiency. So as workloads scale up or down, Carpenter works directly with AWS EC2 to add or remove nodes, reducing the need for costly over-provisioning and preventing slow, expensive scale downs. It is built for scale. Carpenter makes cluster scaling decisions in seconds when demand changes, making compute resources available when your application needs it, even in the largest of Kubernetes cluster. And it reduces your operational overhead. By using Carpenter, you can focus on getting the most out of your Kubernetes applications instead of worrying about how to provision, manage, or even scale your compute needs. Finally, if you're interested in learning more on running managed Kubernetes containers on the cloud, go to aws.amazon.com/EKS. To learn more about the AWS Carpenter project, go to carpenter.sh. I hope you enjoyed this video. Cheers.
Hello everyone, my name is Victoria and I'm a Senior Partner Solutions Architect at AWS based in New York. I'm excited to join today's She Builds Tech Skill Show and tell you about my personal favorite service announcement during reInvent, AWS IoT TwinMaker. And before I tell you more about this awesome service, I want to share with you a story so you understand why I'm so excited about it. I started my career as a controls engineer. I was responsible for designing supervisory systems to control operations, processes, and production plans. So for one of my projects, I needed to develop screens to allow operators to control a very complex mixing operations. And it took like a web of pipes and valve clusters. And when I first looked at this, I thought, well, how can I build intuitive screens so that operators easily understand which valve is which and how to control it for mixing flows. I decided to create an isometric view of the room. The problem, however, that the standard libraries did not include elements in isometric projection. So I partnered with an AutoCAD engineer in my company, and together we drew valves in AutoCAD, rotated each of them under different angles, exported them as images, and later on I assembled all of this in supervisory screens and added logic and animation. Now imagine if I had a service where I could import existing 3D models, CAD files or BMI files, that would automatically create 3D view of physical environment and allow me just to overlay data points on top of it. Well, you know what the service is called. It's AWS IoT TwinMaker. AWS IoT TwinMaker is a new AWS IoT service that helps developers to create digital twins of real-world systems. It has several capabilities. Number one is Model Builder. AWS IoT TwinMaker provides a flexible modeling capability to represent digital twins. The Model Builder allows you to create entity models and visual assets. You can create entities that represent digital replicas of your equipment, for example, a valve or a pump, and specify custom relationships between these entities. Number two is data connectors or components. For your digital twin, you may need to bring data from different data sources. With AWS IoT TwinMaker, it makes it simple to combine your data in a single service without recreating another data store. It provides built-in data connectors for AWS IoT Sidewise, Amazon Kinesis Video Stream, Amazon Simple Storage Service, as well as enterprise applications. AWS IoT TwinMaker also provides a framework using AWS Lambda for you to create easily custom data connectors to other data stores. One of my colleagues created a connector for Siemens MindSphere. Number three is a Scene Composer. AWS IoT TwinMaker provides a console-based 3D scene composition tool to create visualizations in 3D. You can bring your previously built 3D or CAD models into your resource library in Amazon S3. It makes it easy for you to bind data model in entities with your visualization. You can add tags on top of this base scene to connect a specific 3D location with data streams. For example, you can add a temperature tag on your mixing equipment or even add a link to user documentation. You can create AWS IoT Maker. You can use AWS TwinMaker to create your web applications. It provides plugin for Grafana so that you can use to create dashboards with 3D scenes and other widgets. The dashboards use AWS IoT TwinMaker's unified data access API to populate different widgets. I wish I could use AWS IoT Twin Maker for my past project. Some of the common use cases for AWS IoT Twin Maker include creating a holistic view of your operation processes with faster and less effort, driving optimization of building operation, increasing production output, and improving equipment efficiency. I hope you enjoyed this overview. Thank you.
All right, so that was a really awesome session. Now, Carpenter is a great feature for those that are already running Kubernetes at scale or thinking of running Kubernetes at scale. And for IoT-related services that Victoria talked about, I can see that benefiting many customers, from those that are tinkering at home to those with large-scale IoT devices or fleets that they need to manage in large-scale enterprises, such as manufacturing and industrial type of settings. So what an awesome session, though, from all the presenters today. And we've heard all about some machine learning services. There was data and analytics there, infrastructure as code, compute services, and IoT. So yeah, May, has there been any questions from the audience, or what's your take on all of these sessions today?
All the videos, like, is really interesting. We cover a lot of areas, a lot of topics. If anyone have any questions, please feel free to pop it in the chat. We will try to respond to that. I'm actively checking the chat. So we do have one question from the audience, and I want to put you on the spot. So Milad Serverless, apologies if I'm pronouncing the Twitch handle wrong, asked about, what does solution architect do at AWS? Like, the question is, does solutions architect code on AWS, or do you just do design solutions? What do you think, Mai?
A bit of everything, basically. As a solutions architect, you have ownership on helping. Well, basically, our job is to help our customers to become elevate our customers, basically, and we're here to help customers become more efficient. And we talked about the well-architected framework before. So how do we make sure that their architecture is up to scratch in the 5 different pillars? So yes, there's a lot of architectural design that we help customers with. Coding, if you want to go down that path. I'm not a developer, so I'm more of the traditional infrastructure space. So I help customers with more around the DevOps, the infrastructure side of things. So we all have different skill sets, and don't have to be a full-on developer, coder, a full-stack developer even. So it depends what your passion and your skill set is, and you can make the best of your skill sets. So hopefully that answered your question. May, what's your take on a solutions architect and what we do on a day-to-day basis?
No, I think you nailed it all. You described it really well, and absolutely right. And to be honest, I don't know everything. Like, I don't know all the machine learnings and IoT. My area of focus, my past experience was the development, the developer. So I'm focusing on software engineering, creating POC. Like Mai said, we focus on the ownership of what we're going to deliver, what we do the best for the customers. We do have an area of specialty, or we could say the focus area that we like to focus on, and we lean on the other people, like other teams, to put their their specialty or their expertise input if we need to. So we can lean on to a different teams where they're specialized in a different area that I'm not strong enough, and that's where we work together collaboratively with the team, and to help the customer. So we don't have to know everything. It's not possible. It's just over 200 and something services on AWS. So there's having a specialty path, and then and then lean on to the other expertise to give the input and help develop the customers. So I would say that's my take on the solutions architect, being for about 2 years at AWS. So yeah. Awesome. So before we wrap up, I'm giving away all the lucky viewers some homework. So you can go and educate yourself. You can go and build. We share a lot of links regarding, the blog post around the announcement and also the sample code. Like we posted on the GitHub repository where you can clone the repository, build it yourself, or maybe even just explore what's happening in the space that might interest you. So I'm going to pop in the chat for all the announcement, the reInvent announcement from 2021. And if you have any questions, please reach out to myself or Mai from the LinkedIn or from the chat. We're more than happy to help in this space.
Awesome. So love that particular link. So please check it out. It's got all the reInvent links or services that we talked about today. And we'll hope to see you at the next episode in about a month's time. So in the meantime, we'd love to hear your feedback and comments and any topics you'd love to learn more about. And if you identify as a woman or non-binary person, we have built something really cool on AWS. We'd love to have you here on our show. So reach out to us via the email address here or via our LinkedIn. We'll definitely set up some time with you to chat through that. But if you missed our previous episodes, you can hit subscribe on our YouTube channel as well, AWS She Builds Tech Skills. And this is Mai.
And this is May. Let's net out together on She Builds Tech Skills.
Awesome, everyone. Well, I'm glad to see you at the start of this year and hope to see you a lot more times and hope to see you next time. See ya.
Yeah, thank you.